Well, thank you for coming. I'm so glad you could join me. I've been inspired to draw for your next ball. My sister and I used to perform this spread ourselves before dinners and musicales and assemblies, and perhaps one or two catastrophes which we should never have attempted socially. She called it the private ball, which sounds elegant, I know, until one remembers that she invented it entirely. Still, it has proven to be alarmingly accurate over the years. A ball, after all, is never just a ball. It is strategy, it is observation, perhaps there is some flirtation, but then there's a period of evaluation. There are occasional surprises, such as discovering that someone is secretly in love with you as they hand you lemonade entirely too intensely. Well, I believe we begin with the carriage ride. Oh, the King of Cups. Well, that is excellent. I advise you, my dear, to remain agreeable in transit. A small thing, but not of insignificance. Many evenings are torn entirely asunder by the arrival of one person complaining about the weather and another sitting upon your ribbon. Perhaps another person is speaking at length of people that nobody likes. The King of Cups, well, he suggests emotional diplomacy. Smile politely. Do not argue in the carriage. And if someone begins speaking dramatically about their suffering before the first lantern is even visible, then simply look out the windows and survive quietly. Now then, let us move on to your entrance. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is promising, my dear. I should say that you do not enter unnoticed. It's the sort of entrance that causes people to look up mid-conversation and briefly forget what they were saying. It might be a little bit dangerous, but if you look closely at the card, you can see there's also fresh opportunity attached to this evening. There's new rooms, there's new introductions, there's new possibilities. There's also perhaps, my dear, new shoes, which are rarely worth the suffering they require. Let us move on to greetings and introductions. We have the Three of Wands and the Six of Pentacles. My dear, I say it is rather common in going to a ball that you spend a rather longer time than desired attempting to reach the people that you actually hope to see. This has happened at every ball that I have ever attended. I should also say that half of society spends every event moving slowly towards one another while pretending all the while that it is accidental. The Three of Wands suggest delay, waiting, observing across crowded rooms, possibly being trapped in conversations with somebody you do not wish to be talking to, while your entire emotional future stands 20 feet away. Perhaps near a fern. I cannot disagree that it is cruel architecture. Now then, we also have the Six of Pentacles. This card tells me that you will make at least 2 new introductions. One of these introductions shall bring you ease, indeed, and the other brings imbalance. This imbalance appears to be disguised in some way or another, most likely excitement. Unfortunately, society rarely labels these 2 persons clearly, so you will have to distinguish them for yourself. I know, it is an exhausting responsibility. And as you see, we've completed the first set. So now we draw. The World card. Well, I think this card escalates your overall evening. It appears that you become extremely visible. I do not believe it is scandalously so, although I can see why you might fear it. Simply, I believe it is being noticed. The world suggests completion, arrival. It also has the air of social success. At some point, You realize people are paying attention to you differently than before. This is thrilling, of course, at first, but it is not long before it becomes unendurable by most. Still, while it is not the card for anonymity, it is the very card for romance. It makes me wonder what the assembly shall bring. The Knight of Cups. Oh dear. The card suggests this ball is determined to bring romance. In fact, it suggests that admiration follows you rather freely this evening. You may notice unusual attentiveness, lingering eye contact, people suddenly appearing beside you with a beverage that they had no interest in carrying. It is all rather perplexing if you're not used to it. Knight of Cups. His charm in motion, poetic attention, a person fully prepared to cross an entire ballroom simply because you look interesting. It is very persuasive energy, but it comes attached with a slight warning. It is not always the most reliable. However, such attention is undeniably entertaining. But it is getting late. Let us move on to the supper room. 7 of Pentacles. Well, by supper, I should say you are becoming rather strategic. You begin wondering whether you're still enjoying yourself. In fact, you begin asking whether it is entirely worth the effort required to wear those new shoes. However, overall, I would say this is an extremely intelligent development. The 7 of Pentacles suggests observation and assessment, quiet reconsideration, and you may even discover that someone initially unimpressive becomes more attractive during conversation. All the while, I see that someone who is initially dazzling becomes increasingly exhausting. This is, I grant you, a fate deserved by many. Finally, we come to the most important card of all, which is that which endures from this evening. What do we talk about the next day at calling hours? This is the next day's emotional atmosphere, perhaps, the lingering impressions, the news that is carried forward after the candles have all burned out. I see we've drawn the 2 of Swords. This is the card that might appear when no one knows what to think, including you, my dear. It is the energy of uncertainty, not unpleasant uncertainty, but more the sort that, well, it leads one to stare thoughtfully out windows while pretending not to replay entire conversations repeatedly. You may receive conflicting reports the next day. One friend may try to convince you that someone adores you, while another convinces you that they are emotionally unavailable. This is a card that appears after an evening whose meaning changes slightly upon every retelling. I believe that's honestly the best sort of ball, do you not? If everyone understood everything immediately, society would lose all interest in finding folly, and then what would we laugh at? Now then, I should very much like to know how your own ball turns out. I do hope you will write all about it in the comment section, and I also sincerely hope you will call again.